Moving ahead now, President Muhammadu Buhari is keen on his mission to lift millions of Nigerians out of poverty by creating opportunities that would improve the productivity of Nigerian youth for entrepreneurship or employment.
This, the federal government says, will be largely achieved through its powerproject. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Umar Farouk, says more than 100,000 beneficiaries of the Power program now have their own businesses.
This represents about 22% of the 500,000 Nigerians that have benefited from this program since its inception. The federal government is about to add even more beneficiaries to the numbers as the Power scheme has now opened its portal for Batch C applicants to register for the project. Joining us now is an economist, Oladotun Mabinori, and the Power beneficiary, Junaid Oluwaseun, who will be joining us on Skype as well from Ogun State. But certainly, let me thank you, Oladotun, for joining us on the program.
Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Good.
Thank you for having me.
Now, let's put some things on the platform. The point there is there has been lots of controversy back and forth about the Power program and some of these employment schemes from government here and there. And a lot of people are saying that there should have been a backing of the law in such a way that there could be a continuous, firm and permanent, this thing has come to stay. But Power is a program that may waive any time, as the case may be. Talk to us about this.
All right, thank you very much. Let me just take us back a little. Before 1936, so to speak, economists have always believed in laissez-faire economy, that is classical economy, that government should not intervene in the affair of the economy. But 1936 and beyond, James Keynes came and said, no, government is the most powerful agent that can regulate the economy. So the government coming in to create employment is not out of place. In fact, we have seen, if you watch American economy very well, you will realize that they've always been using the Keynesian theory, with the same thing as what we have here. And from 1999 even to date, we have always had one program or the other in terms of poverty eradication. Obasanjo came in through the NAPEP, we have Jonathan Shopi, then we're having a National Social Investment Program right now. One of them is this Power. So for me, as an economist, I can say it is one of the best we can have from this government, so to speak, in terms of the Shopi program. In terms of the Power. We have people that are not fully employed, or that are not even gainfully employed at all, having hope to get something doing at the end of the day. And if you look at the first goal of the program, it's actually to come in and the so-called for government to come in and empower people in getting job done. We have always been talking about employability problem. I mean, not employability problem of Nigerian graduates. And this is a program that government has established to ensure that people get the skills to get employed out there. And if you see, at least just last week or thereabout, we have 109,823 being discharged. That is the first batch A and batch B graduate being graduated. The batch A and batch B set being graduated. And again, we have about 400,000 again coming in. So if you continue doing it this way on a yearly basis, but my own concern again is the duration. I think that 2 years, 3 years is just too long a period.
That's actually where I am going to, because you've been talking about employability and it's just for 2 years. And there are concerns that what happens after the 2 years is over, these people graduate, wouldn't they go back into the unemployment market again? Because some of them, their businesses don't seem to be sustainable. And Nigerians are asking, perhaps we should look at the program again, restructure it to make it more permanent, something permanent.
Yeah, I think in that regard, the government is not. This is not it's not national cake. It's not just collecting money on a monthly basis. Then after that you go. No, I think there's another program called the GEEP. That's a government empowerment. So in that instance, they have access to free loan. So this is like an incubation period. You go through Shopee, get the skill. Sorry, go through Empower. Get the necessary skill. After getting the skill, then there's a loan available for you to start your business. The essence is to create your own business. And we have seen that SME, for instance, constitutes over 80% of employment in Nigeria, and their contribution to GDP is about 48%. So this is a sector of the economy that we can't just let go just that way. So what government is doing majorly is to improve the quality of small-scale entrepreneurs that we have in Nigeria. That is, empower them, give them the necessary skills, then give them money to continue whatever they have done. Because government can't continue giving them money for the rest of the whole period. So the government have a program on grant for them in order for them to access loan. If not, they are graduate of Shopee.
All right. Let me bring in Junaid Oluwaseun, who is the beneficiary of Empower. Oh, okay. I understand he's not there right now. Okay. Now, before now, there has been controversy regarding the delay in payment of allowances and, you know, all the monthly salaries that they're entitled to and all of that. How does that impact the efficiency of the program?
For me, I will try to let people have this orientation that this is not a national cake, so to speak. And we have seen instances where salaries, even in corporate organizations, are being delayed. It is not born at all. It's not.
But this is a special program by the presidency.
It is a special program, so to speak. But at least those that, from what I have gathered, those that even are complaining, it's about maybe the last payment they're complaining about. If since 2016...
3 months.
3 months. If since 2016, the first batch came in at 2016, the first 200,000 people came in 2016, then the next 300 in 2017. That's 500 that have been sustaining. You have been collecting 30,000 naira every month for the next, for the past 2 to 3 years. Then we have a month or 2 months delay. I think to a very large extent, we should give kudos to
They should be grateful for that.
They should be grateful for that.
Why should they be grateful? Because that's an evidence of a failed system.
What if it wasn't done? What do we do?
No, but the point there is it is taxpayers' money. It is
Absolutely.
Nigerians' money. The point there is if you're coming up with a program
The structure had been in
and
place.
the point that you have promised people, you've engaged
That you're
them.
going to pay.
If you fall short, you fall short.
But sir, the delay, I'm not defending government, so to speak, but the delay came in through this corona pandemic issue.
No, even before coronavirus, we had issues of people. In fact, there were instances
I think
where
in February.
there were instances where people, they were even rioting at the time. They were demonstrating and talking about the issue of their salaries not being paid.
Yeah, but my own concern now is if salaries are not paid, so to speak. I think the SSA to the president was talking the other time that some of them that are not paid are those that didn't report to their PPAs. We have instances of such nature. So at times when people go on social media to say this, to say that, we should at least go deeper. I'm an economist. I went deeper. Okay, what is the issue? And I realized that even some people that are complaining, majorly those that are complaining are those that didn't report at their PPAs. So, but those that have been reporting, and to a very large extent, I can say, if you have been collecting their salary regularly for the past 2 years, 3 years, then just a month or 2 month delay, and they have been promised.
That is a Nigerian factor no one will accept. The point there is, it is a world standard where a laborer is entitled to his wage. The point there is, because we're very used to owing salaries, so 1 month, it's just 1 month. No one accepts that anywhere in the world. The point there is, if you're an organization and you owe salaries in South Africa or you owe salaries in the United States or even in Kenya, the point there is you should wind up, your license should be seized. But the point there is, this is Nigeria.
We had the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs the other time, Ajia Shadia, he was saying that whoever, as far as our table is concerned, she has signed all the salary, that maybe the permanent secretary, I'm not, as I said, I'm not going into why
no problem. The point there is Nigeria is just that, what I'm saying is that it's just that Nigerians will not accept when you say it's just 1 month, it's just 2 months. For that, Nigerians will not accept. But we thank you, Oladotu Mabinori, for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. President Muhammadu Buhari is keen on his mission to lift millions of Nigerians out of poverty by creating opportunities that would improve the productivity of Nigerian youth for entrepreneurship or employment.
Now this, the federal government says, will be largely achieved through its Empower project. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, says that more than 100,000 beneficiaries of the Empower program now have their own businesses. And this represents about 22% of the 500,000 Nigerians that have benefited from this program since its inception.
The federal government is about to add even more beneficiaries to the numbers as the Empower scheme has now opened its portal for Batch C applicants to register for the project. Well, joining us now is an economist, Oladotu Mabinori, and an Empower beneficiary, Junaid Oluwaseun, joining us via Skype from Ogun State. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast. Good morning. Good morning. All right, we'll start with you, Oluwaseun. Talk to us how the Empower project has empowered you.
Yeah, good morning, viewers. My name is Junaid Oluwaseun. I'm an NAGRO scheme, under Empower from Ogun State. And I'm posted to Ogun State Agricultural Development Program called ORGADEP, an institution assigned to take care or to train farmers on the adoption of new technologies in Ogun State. So I am a graduate of agriculture, and I finished from Olabisi Onabanjo University 2008. And since then, when I finished service, that was in 2009, there has always been the case of unemployment. Here and there, I've been trying to apply from one company to another. Unfortunately, some companies, they tend to employ you without giving you a certain fee. So at the end of the day, I was an unemployed graduate, trying to survive through meager sums, trying to do one thing or the other, until the advent of Empower. That was in 2015 at the when this government, President Muhammadu Buhari's government, came in and decided to assist the teeming Nigerian youths with the unemployment, to counter the unemployment rate in the country. So I applied with the mindset that, well, let me just apply maybe, I don't know, because of the Nigerian factor. So I decided to apply, and I was expecting maybe I would be able to be taken or not.
All right, Junaid, because of time, can you go straight to what you do now with the Empower that you have been empowered? The power that you have from Empower, can you talk to us about it? What do you do on a daily basis now?
Yes. Thank you so much. Through the acquisition of knowledge and skills from Empower, I was able to set up a catfish farm in Shagamu here. Okay. I was able to set up a catfish farm, and then I employed about 2 workers who are assisting me, along with the stipends that I collect from the federal government, from Empower. So I started with 2,000 pieces of catfish, and now I am able to raise 6,000 pieces of catfish. And with that, I've been able to, this unemployment issue, by now I'm self-employed. So I am satisfied that this program has been able to assist me tremendously in the area of that little amount of money that I put in cooperative,
all right,
which I was able to get enough to start my farm.
If you could just hold the thought. So let's come back to our guest, Oladotun, in the studio. Now, stemming from what he has said, can we say that we are on track with regards to meeting up the vision of the president's employing about or empowering 100 million Nigerians in the next few years?
To a very large extent, we're on track if the program can be followed through. And as an economist, I know the implication of unemployment on an economy. And the Nigeria statistics, for instance, our demography shows that we have about 65% of Nigerian population below 35 years old and below. That's over 130 million people. And of this 130 million people, we have 70 million between age 18 and 35, which is the age of employment, the age where you are expected to migrate into the labor. So, and if you look at Empower, that is the same bracket that Empower is targeting. So, and empowering them, that's a very good example, a beneficiary that we're talking about.
One of the success stories.
A success story. In fact, let me even say greatest Oswite. Funny enough, I also finished from OU.
Oh, interesting.
Same year, same year he finished.
Yes.
So we're alumni, greatest Oswite. So it's actually great, as far as I'm concerned, in terms of economic impact. And what we should look at is the multiplier effect. Now, he finished just one person, and he has 2 or 3 people working with him. So imagine if government is turning out 2-3 million people every year, and each of them employing 3, 4, 5 people, multiply effect. Then the impact again on their parents. Okay, instead of me fending for this guy, now he's on his own. That dependency syndrome is out of it. Now the guy is independent. So if you look at the economic implication of this, in terms of finances, that is the income that these people are getting, then in terms of the employment, their own employability and the employment job creation. Because what problem we have been having before now is the issue of I will leave university, I'm unable to get a job. But now government is empowering them, not just giving them money, because money doesn't solve problem. So giving them skills, skill acquisition, upping their skills, and at the same time, creating an atmosphere for them to express whatever they have learned.
All right.
over time.
Let me stay with you. One of the concerns a lot of people have is the duration, where after about two years, that people are disengaged. We certainly know that some of the N-Power beneficiaries are teachers, and so on. And if they are disengaged, because not all of them are entrepreneurs, not all of them are trained to be entrepreneurs. Certainly, we have Junaid's success story here. There are others who are welders and fabricators and so on. But how about those who are not into something in that regard? How is that?
Okay, now let me comment. The so-called N-Power program is divided into 4.
Okay.
There are 4 categories. We have the N-Agro, that's people into agriculture, people like Junaid. We have N-Teach, where the teachers are coming. We have the N-Health. Then the 4th category is N-Build, then the creative aspect of it, and then the people into technology. So it also caters for both educated and the graduate and the non-graduates. Now, the issue of education, I'm an educationist, so to speak, for this, by the grace of God, and at the same time, I know what it means to start afresh. Through university, I went to Labison University. I was a self-sponsored candidate, and what I used to send myself to school was education. I mean, it was the tutorial. I was doing tutorial and I was making money, and I was even assisting my family, so to speak. So if you are in N-Power Teach, for instance, and you have been exposed to the art of teaching, you can start up even with starting with a lesson. If after exiting the program, start up a lesson, start with KG or what have you, and before you know, you can grow it into. We should learn the rope. Don't say, okay, I want to come out of this program and have a university or have my own polytechnic. Start with, even if it's kindergarten, but at least you have the skill to become a teacher. So that is what we are looking at over time. That once you're out of this program, then gradually, at least you have the skill.
That independence.
Independent, then you have availability of fund to kick off whatever you have learned. Okay.
All right, let's get back to Junaid now. What would you say? We know that the portal is open for those who might want to join into the program at this point. What would you encourage them to do at this time, especially those who perhaps might want to be empowered or might want to be a part of this program? So far, we hear that about 3 million applicants have put in now.
Thank you so much. I will advise the people that are yet to do or that have already done their, how do I say it, the processing, is that they should go and click into this program. It is a very good opportunity, like a platform where you can acquire skill and knowledge. There are a lot of people who don't even have an idea about how to do agricultural practices. And when they joined N-Agro, I have some people who during my set are computer literate or what have you. And at the end of the day, they were able to establish their farm slightly, like maybe 2 plots or 3 plots of maize and cassava farm. So I will advise the incoming batch that they should key into this program. The government is sincere about making sure that they take away this unemployment issue, and the only platform that the government thinks that they can benefit from is through N-Power, which is unbiased about picking the volunteers at the end of the day. So I advise them to key into it, as well as, you know, they are acquiring knowledge, and the government is also paying them along with it. This is a good opportunity.
Yeah, Junaid, let me stay with you. I can see some bags of, I don't know whether it is rice, palliatives, or...
This is some of the plastics. I mean, this is Ala Aqua product for fish.
Okay.
You know, it's a feed. It's an imported feed. Like this plastic is measured in 6 kilo, which is around 9,000 naira now. So these are some of the starter feed that we give to our fingerlings when being bought. While the ones in the bags, like the yellow bag you are saying, are the pelleted feed that was made in the feed mill for adult fish, like you call it table size fish. And then you have blue crown nylon here, where it is bagged as 2 mm, you know, like 2 mm size. It's a floating feed that when you give it to fish, they take it on the water.
It's really interesting because really interesting because I thought there were rise from palliatives from COVID-19, but it's really nice. But let me stay with you. Let me ask you this one question before we leave. What are your plans generally going forward? Now you have told us you are independent now. You've employed about 2 persons to work with you. Are you planning to take loans to expand your farm, or what's your plan? Can you share with us?
Yeah, definitely. There is a room for expansion in my farm. Presently, I am on a plot of land and I have about 6 ponds there, and I already rented about 2 ponds in addition. Whereas there is another land space that I plan to buy in the nearest future, not very long, that will also create room for more expansion. I also add value to some of these fish by smoking and then export it to UK. I have contacts in UK and USA. Unfortunately, the issue of COVID-19 has stopped that because of logistics reasons. But I plan to employ more people, even graduates. Even some IT students can come to my farm. Like some came some few months ago to come and learn some new techniques from Olabisi Onabanjo University to fisheries students. So I plan to expand and employ more hands and also start adding value to some of these fish and exports. So that's why finally I want to go into consultancy too, to train.
Fish consultant. That's really interesting.
Interesting, Junaid.
I can see you have your plans. You have
out.
Great vision there already.
Interesting.
This is good. You have the power now.
All right, Junaid. Let's get back to the studio now. Oladoto, I wonder where you would want perhaps government to improve on moving forward, because there has been some discrepancies talking about people who are not part of the program benefiting from this, and some other little challenges.
Oh, okay. For instance, the batch C that's about to go in now, so far so good. Within the space of June 20, when they opened the portal, and now they've had over 3 million people subscribing to the program, where they are employing they are recruiting just 400. And of these 400, 200 have been earmarked to go for N-Agro, that is those going to agriculture, 200,000, sorry, 80,000 going for N-Teach, 40,000 for N-Health, which is where I have my issue. Then 80,000 again going for N-Build. So this is pandemic period. So I was expecting the N-Health to be the largest. Do you understand? Because without health, every other aspect will not work. And again, I think the government also, they have seen the duration. The duration of 2 years, 3 years, I think is too long. They've reduced it to 6 months to 1 year now. So 6 months, we are going to those in N-Build, and then those in the N-Agro is just 6 months. So I think it's N-Health and then the N-Teach. That will be 12 months. So I think with that is okay. So that, and again, it also reduce, then again, let me also speak with the Nigerians, that is people that are the beneficiaries. They should please remove this entitlement mentality that, okay, at least it's our money, you must give us this money. It's an opportunity for you to expand. This is a good example. This is a beneficiary here talking Junai. So we should look at it from that angle that, okay, government is trying to upskill whatever I've learned, and at the same time giving me something. It's like you are learning and are being paid. So then when you come out of it, don't say, okay, this thing has ended. Then start crying. What can you do with it? Do you understand? So those are the things I think government should look into. In terms of the duration, I think they get it right. They are getting it right in that direction. Then in terms of the number of people, they should please increase it instead of 400, maybe 1 million each time. If you're doing 1 million on 2 times in a year, that's 2 million. And if 2 million people are employing 3-4 people on a yearly basis, then you are creating jobs. Then unemployment will be, so-called poverty will be reducing. You know, just last time they released the number of poverty rates in Nigeria. Well, we start close to 90 million people still under abject poverty. And here we're only looking at abject poverty. We're not looking at relative poverty.
All right.
And other types of poverty.
Okay. All right. Oladoto Mabinwori and Junaid Oluwaseun. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you.